Hey, how's it going, everybody? Shaun here from Zoobox, and today I'm going to be talking about the 1988 film Twins. The film was directed by Ivan Reitman, written by William Davies, William Osborne, Ivan Reitman, and others. It stars Arnold Schwarzenegger, Danny DeVito, Kelly Preston, Chloe Webb, David Caruso, and some other people. The plot synopsis is a physically perfect but innocent man goes in search of his long lost twin brother, who is short, a womanizer, and a small town crook. Small time crook, rather. Oh, shit. So, yeah, Twins is a weird movie. I know I've seen Twins more than one time throughout the years, throughout my 33 years on this planet. And I never remember what the fuck it's about. I don't ever remember anything about the movie. It's like memory completely gets memory hold. As soon as I watch it, I just forget. Just gone. And that's why I have to make this video in a rush right now. I was like, oh fuck, I watched Twins the other day. Like I forgot that I watched it. I was like, it's that ephemeral. And I watched it, and when I was watching it and I was paying attention to it, I was like incredulous the entire time. I was like, nobody remembers this movie. Nobody like actually acknowledges like anything about this movie. It is not funny. It is boring. The performances are not interesting. The characters are not likable in any sense of the word, in any shape or form. It's kind of just an awful movie. It's not even put together well. And this comes from Ivan Reitman, right? Ivan Reitman, best known for Ghostbusters and Ghostbusters 2. I mean, Meatballs, Stripes. Maybe that's the Kindergarten Cop, Dave Jr. So, at the time he does this, he's kind of top of the comedy heap. He's kind of a big deal, right? This was a high concept movie. Take an action star like Arnold Schwarzenegger, get him to do something completely different. Juxtapose him in some sort of funny situation where he's got a twin brother that's a fucking man troll. And then that's it. I like. There's not even. Doesn't even feel like really. There's a script here. It feels like they kind of were just winging it. It's like a cash cow. Like this was like some sort of like scam to make money. At least on the part of like Ivan Reitman and Danny DeVito. I mean, apparently they made a lot of money on this movie. This movie did very well, and because the deal had to come together so fast, apparently they signed an agreement on like a bar napkin at a restaurant. And then they spitballed the fucking idea for the movie in like the bathroom of that restaurant, probably while doing coke. Probably while doing coke off of some like women's breasts, a la something like RoboCop, right? Just fucking partying. Be like, oh, wouldn't it be cool, man? Danny DeVito, look at Danny DeVito. He's so fucking gross. And look at Arnold Schwarzenegger, such an Adonis, such a specimen. What if they were brothers, dog? Wait a minute. No. Not just brothers. What if they were twins? Oh, shit. Like, that's what it feels like when you're watching this movie. Like, it's so aimless and formless. It's just scenes that feel like they're happening within a vacuum. The plot, it's got like a plot. It's got more, because the conceit of the movie is they're twins. They're a product of some sort of like basically a genetic experiment. And these scientists basically dump DeVito in a fucking. He's like all the shit from the experiment, and they dump DeVito into an orphanage, and they take Arnold off somewhere to an island where he's like super educated and intelligent as a result of that, and kind of. But he's very naive, and then DeVito's like a street hustler. Oh, and there's some funny hijinks as a result, let me tell you. Except not really. Like, it never, ever does anything beyond just the concept. They think just the fact that they're going to remind you that these guys are twins every 10 minutes, that this is going to drive things, makes things funny. I wouldn't even say there's like a joke in the movie. There's no like, set up punchline type jokes. It is all completely just contextual, based on the fact that they're twins and that they're mismatched. That's it. That's it. That 100% is it. I mean, I didn't even chuckle. Oh, maybe not for, I was not laughing at the movie. I was just like, I cannot believe this is a thing. I couldn't believe it. And like I said, I've seen this movie at least a few times in my life, and I couldn't remember anything. And even as I'm talking, I feel like it's just bleeding out of my brain into the fucking ether, into the ether. Just out, Satan. Get out. Get out of my body. And I'm not sad about that. Like, I don't want to remember Twins. I don't. But then if I don't, though, the great tragedy is 10 years down the line, I see Twins somewhere. I'm like, oh, I'll watch Twins. And then we'll be right back here. I'll be making another goddamn video. I'll be like stuck in a twin loop. Yeah, I was so shocked at how lazy it was. And like Ivan Reitman, I guess he's one of these guys that kind of just got lucky. I mean, he was a big director at the time, like I said. But all these movies that I named off before he did this, right? Meatballs, Stripes, Ghostbusters. Those are all 100% predicated on the cast and the cast's ability to perform. Because if you just go look at his later stuff, I mean, Kindergarten Cop, it's Kindergarten Cop. It's much better than Twins, I can tell you that much. If you look at like Junior, the spiritual sequel to Twins, which actually, for some reason, I have more of a memory of. I actually think that's like a better movie. Like it feels more cohesive and coherent. Then he does like 6 Days, 7 Nights, Evolution, Big Swing and a Miss, My Super Ex-Girlfriend, Dave, Father's Day, the remake of the French movie Father's Day with Billy Crystal and Robin Williams. I mean, just not great movies. He's just not a strong authorial presence as a director. He's more of just like, let the performance perform and we'll see what happens. I actually tried to watch Evolution not that long ago. I got about like a half hour into it and I just like quit. It's before I started doing these daily movie reviews. Otherwise, I would have finished it and talked about it. But I was just so bored. It was so flat. And actually, now revisiting Twins, very similar in the sense. It's just so flat the whole time. It's just one note. And it never feels like it gains any type of like pulse. It's not paced very well. It's like the story is incoherent. Because it decides to be more than just about the conceit. There's also like the subplot where Danny DeVito has stolen this thing to pay back his bookies. Like this whole complicated mess that actually doesn't really do much to enrich the story or to move things forward or test the characters in any real way. Like if this had just actually been more traditional and more about kind of like learning to love your family and respecting your brother, and they both learn to respect each other for different reasons, like then maybe you would have had something there. Like go on a road trip to go find their mom, which is a part of the movie, but it's such in the background because that like the A plot and the B plot are always kind of competing, and it's just not balanced very well because they're both kind of presented almost as A plots. So they just kind of get lost. Everything, like the particulars that would make you care about those situations get lost in the shuffle. Like it's just not, I don't know, not modulated very well. I don't know what else to say. But yeah, fucking Twins sucks, guys. Twins is a piece of shit. And I'm not going to talk about it for a half hour. I'm not going to do it. I don't want to. And there's not much else to say. Like it's so slight. It's so forgettable. I wish I had watched something else because I put it on very randomly. It's like one of these impulsive things. I see Twins and I was like, here we go. Regret. Shame. I couldn't believe it. And now they're threatening a sequel, which they've been threatening for a very long time, called Triplets, with Eddie Murphy starring as the surprise third brother. They were supposed to do that back in like the mid 90s, and then it was like the early 2000s. They were talking about it, and then Arnold runs for office.
Mm-hmm.
He was governor, so they kind of got sidetracked in that. Now he's just too old. Now everybody's too old. Like to actually like imagine seeing like Danny DeVito as a star of a movie now, because culturally he's like Frank from It's Always Sunny. It's really hard to separate him from that character. To be honest with you, I have a hard time like seeing him in any other role because it is probably the most perfect thing he's ever done in terms of like his abilities as a performer. It's probably Frank from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. If you've never seen, I highly recommend it. It's much better than Twins. Yeah. Really, it just feels like a money scam. They made a ton of money. I know, I think I started saying this and never finished the thought, so maybe we'll close on this. They made a shit ton of money. They couldn't, like, the studio couldn't afford to pay them their fees up front because of, like, how quickly it came together with financing or whatever. And so they took back end deals where they took points off the box office and residuals for rentals and whatnot. And they ended up making a ton of money as a result. They all became wealthy men off of Twins. Because people love a high concept, you know? People love a high concept. And at the time, I mean, this is the same year Red Heat comes out for Arnold Schwarzenegger. So he's done Terminator, Conan, maybe Commando. Commando had come out maybe right before this. So he was a big, big star. Big star. And people were curious what he would do in a comedy. And and I actually think Arnold Schwarzenegger has some comedic chops. He can be funny. Just here he just kind of falls short a little bit. It's just a 1-note performance, but I don't even think that's his fault, to be fair to Arnold, not even his fault. He's just not given anything to work with. DeVito is just phoning it in. It's just a phoned in performance from DeVito. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm being too harsh. Maybe they really cared, and this is a well crafted piece of comedy. They really took their time, but I don't think so. That's not how it played to me when I watched it the other morning. It's not how I felt. They should all be ashamed of themselves. All right, everybody. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. If you'd like to know more about Zoobox, you want to keep up to date with everything Zoobox Nation. There's a bunch of links in the description for Facebook, for Instagram, for my personal Twitter. Also, if you'd like to make a recommendation for one of these daily videos or something for Zoobox Goes to the Movies, our deep dive film podcast, leave it in the comments and we'll throw it on the list. All right, everybody. Goodbye.